Hello and welcome back to the channel Brawlers, Bladers, and Tabletop Enthusiasts. It's Bakubrad96 and today's video is going to be even better than the last. So coming off of my limited edition 1 in 1000 Geogan videos, I wasn't quite sure how to capture the audience or continue off of that for my viewers, except for one thing, and that is to showcase all of the released elemental Bakugan that I did manage to get during my channel hiatus and my recording break. So even though I have reviewed a few of these, well actually more than a few of these, I've never actually done a full video on all of them all at once. So that being said, I will not be taking a look at character cards or stats. This is merely a showcase video of all of the elemental Bakugan that did release. Now, for those of you who don't know, elemental Bakugan, or elemental, is a rarity that released in the second generation of Bakugan, or the Bakugan reboot. To be more specific, the third year, so Bakugan Geogan Rising. It combined some elements of Diamond Bakugan and the translucent Bakugan from Armored Alliance, and added a special printed design to the Bakugan, so it was really just a few more layers of complexity to add to the rarity iceberg. So going ahead and getting right into it, I'm not going to be able to do the order of release because I don't know it, but I will try to do order of year or release by year. So that means I will be starting off with Geogan Rising, and who better to start with than the face of Bakugan, Dragonoid. So now this is the core elemental Dragonoid, and like I said before, you're going to have translucent plastic with a printed design for each faction. Of course, with Pyrus, you're going to get this flamework that looks absolutely stunning. And then yeah, it just looks like a gorgeous cut ruby. And the core design for Dragonoid has got to be my favorite for the second generation. You have manual arms right there. Yeah. So this is the Geogan Rising core Dragonoid elemental. Oddly enough, this version did get a second elemental, which I will get to later. But I can't show one elemental Dragonoid without showing the other from Geogan Rising. So not only did we get a core elemental, but we also got the ultra in elemental as rare. So the same translucent plastic, but here is the fiery design. We have it on the tip of the wings and a little bit on the tail right there. These are absolutely gorgeous Bakugan, but I do have quite a bit, so I kind of don't want to spend too much time on them. Again, following on with this year, so Geogan Rising, there was the Elemental Crystallian. So Darkest got kind of a grayish translucent plastic and then a shadowy wisp design, which was hues of purple, lavender, some black in there. I guess it's like a shadowy effect. Crystallian does have a little manual horn. And here is Crystallian opened up. Still a really cool Bakugan. Gotta hunt that one down in Arliss at some point. The Elemental, pretty common in my area. I did find a few. Moving on though to the next Darkest, at least for Geogan Rising, it is Demork. So again, the shadowy effect is going to be on the wings for Demork, as well as the arms and then the chest. And he sticks a little bit, but here he is. Another gorgeous elemental. And it has been a while, actually, since recording, like as of recording this video. This is the first time I've actually taken a look at my elemental Bakugan since completing the set. Now then, everyone who's been long members of the channel, or subscribers if you will, must know this one. This is the old channel mascot, Elemental Finnica, aka the Lightning Vulptex. This Bakugan will always be dear to me. And yeah, so Chaos, this is the only Chaos Elemental, and it got kind of a weird design. Not sure how that's really Chaos, but the turquoise aquamarine coloring is absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, it's Vinica, one of my favorite Geogan Bakugan. And probably, honestly, my favorite elemental, like hands down. Favorite elemental, no questions asked. Next up is Elemental Serpilius, the Ventus elemental for Geogan Rising. And Ventus got kind of a camouflage look, so not bad as far as the 3D print. We have the Emerald Dragon. And as everyone knows, at least by watching my reviews, Serpilius has the 2 manual feet in front. And there we have it. We have the Smog of Bakugan. Shout out to the Evolutions Pyrus Serpilius that had the code name printed on the card instead of the actual name. Such amazing detail. And I should note that these also got the metallic paint that the 1 in 1000 Geogan did as well. Next up, and I do believe this is, well, no, it is not the last, second to last elemental for Geogan Rising is Sharktar. Now, my Sharktar is hilarious because if you'll all notice, one side is completely bare of paint, and the other side is painted. Now, I have been told by crew members that that's an error, like most of them have the whole head painted, so I thought that was pretty funny. You know, that is hilarious. And then Sharktar being an Aquas Bakugan, obviously your printing is going to be water. And it looks like it's, I guess, a beach scene or something like that. Like really serene water. It's not rushing or anything. Very nice Bakugan, again with the metallic paint. But yeah, the two-face look, kind of a little unsettling. But it is what it is. It is still an elemental for the collection. Now I can move on to the last elemental of Geogan Rising, and honestly, this was the hardest for me to find, and it is Elemental Spartillion. So one of the few R-less elementals. The R-less faction got a weird triangular checkerboard pattern, of course with some metallic gold accents. And not a lot of translucent on the Spartillion. The Spartillion's kind of a standout in the Elemental Bakugan, as it's just unique. It doesn't fit the same stereotypical tropes that the other Elemental design goes for with the others. And I always thought that was kind of interesting. Kind of a letdown that the inside of Spartillion is more or less just regular R-less. But we do get some of the 3D printed on the back. So I guess that's a little better, but still kind of a cop-out. Should have been fully translucent like the others. Moving on to Bakugan Evolutions. So I think starting off Evolutions, we had the Elemental Platinum Bakugan. The first one being, Elemental Platinum Nelius, which turned the magenta metallic into solid black. We got accents of the magenta, and then of course the shadowy wispy effect. And the line work was gold. Not my favorite Nelius mold, but really good as far as a platinum Bakugan. All of the metal was more towards the inside, and I like that in designs rather than the metal being all exterior. So it was pretty cool that there was plastic, the wings folded over it all. Really cool for a platinum elemental. And the next one is the Elemental Blitzfox, which as far as the elemental printed pattern, got a good bit of it on the back of the tail in the flames. And given that Blitzfox had a flaming tail, it just fits, right? It looks so gorgeous. But again, another lackluster elemental, just because with the platinum metal, you couldn't make it translucent, right? Like there's no way to do so. And continuing on, I guess, with Evolutions, we have the Sectonoid. Again, camo print. The little mosquito buzz hole. At least that's what it reminds me of, especially strength mode. And then the second Dragonoid. So in Evolutions, Core Drago got a second elemental. This one still having the flaming pattern, but being orange in color, whereas the last was ruby red. This one's more like a sunshine gold, maybe? And continuing on from there, this is where I start losing the order, because Grizzwing had an Evolutions Elemental, and I'll go ahead and skip ahead to the Legends Elemental, the only Bakugan to receive 2 Elemental treatments in different years. There are a few differences, but for the most part, Platinum Grizzwing was Platinum Grizzwing. Just one is Legends and one is Evolutions. So you're really just getting the color differences between the years, and that's all. Probably my least favorite elemental, I'm going to be honest with you all. After that, there is Halcor, which my Halcor is a little janky, but I still love it. It is the elemental Cerberus Doggo, again with the shadowy wispy pattern. That matches Grizzwing. Little fold out tail. And here is the elemental Halcor, which it was nice going back to the core Bakugan with Drago and Halcor because they were translucent again. And I think that just looks a lot better than the solid metal. Now, somewhere in between Evolutions and Legends, we did get the Elemental Mythic Bakugan. So we had Elemental Mythic Drago and the Elemental Mythic Nilius, which was packaged as a diamond. So I'm not really sure if this is diamond or elemental, but I keep it in my elemental collection. So we have the core Drago elemental style, and the Mythic Elementals don't have any of the 3D print. But the character cards and the packaging represented that of Mythic Bakugan, or excuse me, Elemental Bakugan, even though they don't have the printing. I count them as elementals just like the Prisma Dragonoid and the 1 in 1000s, because Bakugan that rare, they kind of just fit. And then wrapping everything up, so the last elemental for Evolutions was the Elemental Neo Feral, which, not my favorite mold, but luckily another Elemental Aurelus. I was very happy to see this, Aurelus being my favorite faction. I definitely wish we got more Aurelus Elementals, but sadly, only 2 released, Spartillion and the Neo Feral. Apparently there was going to be an Elemental Sculler, but it was canned along with the regular one. So in Legends, that left the Trox Exaurus, which is a Ventus Aurelus Bakugan, but it's a main Aurelus. However, the elemental coloring we got of it was Ventus, which is kind of unfortunate. You know, the character card, it is a base Aurelus Bakugan, but it got the Ventus coloring. Still cool, you know, it's got all the camo, but I just wish it would have been Aurelus. And then a Bakugan that I didn't shout out during my Fusion series was the only native Fusion Bakugan to get an elemental is the Darkest Nilinoc. So Nilius X Enoch got a fusion and it is amazing. The purple translucent plastic is a lot closer to the Mythic Nilius, and I think that just looks way better. You have a ton of the 3D print. It's just an amazing Bakugan overall. But that does it for all of the released Bakugan. The only other one, we did get one singular elemental Geogan, being Stingzer. This was another late release in Evolutions, and it looks pretty cool. The only difference is, of course, it has the elemental, evolution line work, and then the metallic paint. The packaging did symbolize it as an elemental, but it is really hard to tell. You know, it didn't have a different character card or anything. You really just had to notice the packaging to know that this was an elemental. But then other than that, the only last Bakugan is kind of the last honorary elemental, and that is the Prisma Dragonoid. I know it's a rarity all on its own, but again, I keep it with the elementals. So the printed pattern is kind of this like prismatic rainbow on the wings. Then we have a silver pearlescent chrome paint, clear diamond translucent plastic that is painted over, and then gold. And again, using that Geogan Rising Core Drago, I swear, best Dragonoid mold ever. But yeah, gorgeous Bakugan. Happy to find this as well as the rest. But yeah, this definitely a centerpiece of my Bakugan reboot collection. I mean, these are all just gorgeous Bakugan. And yeah, I was really glad to finally throw them all together in a video for everyone. I hope you all enjoyed watching it. Thank you for tuning in, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because only about 18% of you are subscribed. What's up with that? But until next time, stay safe, drome up, Bakugan Brawl, and throw the bread easily.